Welcome, everybody, to what is now known as the next page, episode 1.
What is that?
We have a new follower in the stream. Thank you, Astrophysics. Appreciate it.
Hang on a second.
Chatted this week. Oh, what have you done, Speed?
Broken everything.
Oh, you've broken it all.
Why
This
is it
guy.
faded like that?
Trust him. Trust him. Trust him once, and he goes and screws it on you. What are you doing?
I don't know. I should do.
He doesn't even know, bro.
I
Should
don't
we be
know.
word speed?
We'll be right back after these technical difficulties.
Hey.
I fixed it.
Hey.
I fixed it, everyone.
We got it. Nailed it.
All right.
Sorry about that.
So as we're no audio, turn your ears on.
What?
I can hear it.
Yeah, no, everything's fine.
Asho's just been a dick. It's all right.
All right, let's start over
So-
again, shall we?
Yeah.
As we say,
Here we go.
the new phase of SideNote is the next page. More open and cohesive chats rather than just a direct news feed. This week, something that's been pretty contentious in the social media world and probably pretty close to most of us is what is and what constitutes a small streamer. Seen a lot of it in recent times on different groups on Twitter saying, hey, support small streamers, drop your links in the in this chat and, we'll come and boost your channels and stuff like that. But in essence, I mean, what is a small streamer? What constitutes a small streamer that would need that kind of support?
Well, this is where I have trouble with this, right? Because I don't like the term small streamer. Like it basically sets this segregation path for streaming. Like as soon as you call yourself a small streamer, you've already just drawn that line in the sand. You've separated yourself from everyone else out there, and you're trying to compare. You've immediately compared yourself to bigger streamers, which you're never going to get to because you've already closed yourself off in a box.
It's like setting yourself up for failure almost.
Yes. Yeah, you've essentially played mind games with yourself by calling yourself a small streamer. But,
So,
I mean, if we were to put... yeah, no, you go. Yeah.
What would you... So, instead of a small streamer, what would you class yourself? What would you put yourself as? Would you just eliminate small out of the entire equation?
Yeah, you're just a
streamer.
You're just a streamer.
Yeah, because... again, like, as soon as you call yourself a small streamer, you've already classified yourself and you are stuck with that. Like, at what stage do you then become not a small streamer? What? Obviously, it's going to be different for everyone. Where's the line?
Obviously, personal goals come in it, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, is it a certain number? Like, but then you've got the comparison with everyone else who has that idea of a small streamer. Are
Right.
you still a small streamer in other people's eyes?
Well, you see, this is a funny thing, and I've seen Digi comment on this on Twitter the last week or so. Is people, what you would class as the bigger streamers, with thousands of viewers sitting there and saying, "Oh, if you've only got 30 viewers, you should just give up." At what point do we have to draw the line and say viewership really doesn't freaking matter? If you're streaming, you're still just on the same plane as everybody else.
Well, and not only that, but like the perspective of small streamer changes depending on how big your channel is. Like a guy that's got 5 average viewers is going to look at the guy with 1 average viewer and be like, that's a small streamer. Just like the guy with 100,000 viewers is going to see the guy with 10,000 viewers and be like, that's a small streamer. Like it's a perspective that changes as your community grows. And so like in a way, like even if you start small and you grow to someone else, you're still going to be considered a small streamer if you keep going that way. That's why streamer is just a better way to go, because you're just constantly comparing yourself to someone else, and you're never going to be able to get in and be your best and provide the content and build the community that you want to go if you're constantly like, well, I'm still not this high on the viewer count. It's just, I don't know if that makes sense or not.
I mean, like, compared to getting thousands of viewers like every stream, like, yeah, you're gonna feel pretty insignificant if you've only got, say, 50, which is a lot. I mean, that's a lot of people watching your shit.
I mean, if I ever had 50 people in a stream, I would be like, holy shit, that's great. Like, that's a great stream.
Yeah.
But then there's other people
Hollywood,
that they get 50, and it's like, oh, that was a terrible stream. I usually get 200. And it's like, it's weird.
This is where the numbers game really sort of degrades the perspective of a streamer. Like, it's
you have to ask yourself, though, at what point do the numbers stop mattering and the relative points of which these people keep coming back to you matter the most? So, like, for instance, I've been in that upper echelon of viewership, right? I've had thousands of views before. I've had these things back on my old name. Like, I used to be much bigger.
Yeah.
And I could tell you right now, like, having 400 people in my stream, as much as that sounds great and all, and how much fun that is, at what point does that matter when you only have, say, 5 people talking to you, right? When you have people that only show up because it's what you can give them, or if they know that you're a nice person and hey, you want to come to my Discord, come on in, we'll have a nice chat. You keep doing that often enough, more and more people are just going to keep trying to start their careers off of you, and then poof, they're gone. You help them, they got what they needed out of you, that's it, right? So, like, I've been up in that before, and I've experienced these very things. So it's like, at what point does it matter the most to have, say, 400 to 1,000 people watching you, when realistically only 10 of those people really fuck with you and really take what you say as it's, as it affects them, right? Where influence, when nobody really looks at that as saying influence, like being an influencer is kind of a big deal, right? Your influence amongst these people, does it really matter to them? Or again, are they just looking at you as a jumping point, right? So like that's kind of where it gets muddy. You know what I mean? That's the stuff that nobody wants to talk about. That's the stuff that nobody really wants to kind of dig into, because it's weird. At the end of the day, you could have all these great people around you that you love. They're like, oh yeah, my community is awesome. But most of them don't even really care about you like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is a small streamer at this point?
So would you kind of agree with the connotation of taking streamer out of it, and you're not just a streamer, you're an influencer?
I'd say more importantly, you'd be an influencer,
Twitch or whatever, or on Twitter, anything like that. You're an influencer rather than a streamer.
Well, I mean, your streams are influencing, right? So your stream is literally what's causing the influence. So like, you can't just say you're not a streamer, because you're technically influencing people. But it's a little bit of mix. I mean, you could do that if you wanted to. I mean, that's up to you. I think the idea of comparing yourself to other people is the biggest detriment of all. Like, this is where you kill all of your growth. This is where you kill all of your drive to keep going, right? You have 5 people, and at beginning, they were making you really happy. You were talking to them. They were talking to you, right? You start looking at other people, say like Joe down this block has 100 people on his stream. 10 people are talking to him. You keep comparing yourself up and up and up and up and up. Then you start taking your smaller community for granted. And that's kind of where it comes into where, like, you have to really be thankful for what you have and try to grow off of what you already have established, versus of trying to just you're trying to jump the shark by tagging yourself and all these, bigger streamers on Twitter to hope that they give you, toss you a bone, which is, I'm sorry, but that's just so fucking toxic. That is
just aiming for that one sort of shout out.
This is why I want to did you on the show, because this has been something him and I have spoken about in the past, but getting it a little bit more open, I guess, is the thing. And like I guess the thing is, like, you hear everyone say, "Oh, you got a network," you got a network. You basically got to tag onto somebody else,
right?
But at what point is that going to help you? Like, at what point have you identified what your niche is or your market is to get your own platform, like your own stability working before you go tagging on to some people.
That's
you
where your
could have-
influence has to come in.
Well,
Sorry,
that's
I didn't
right.
mean to cut you off. That's where your
Well,
influence has to come
yeah.
in. You can't just be another streamer, right? You actually have to have some sort of influence that is meaningful to some people that they will find value in. You can't just be the same typical, Valorant staring at the screen, not interacting with your community, not having a conversation with your community in your Discord while you're streaming. You can't do any of those. You gotta engage with things, right? Sorry,
Yeah.
Speed, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I don't, but I agree with that. I mean, you could network till your face turns blue. You could do all the right things and whatnot. But if you are like, oh, I just want to be like so and so and do what they do, you're gonna fall flat on your face, and that ties into what you just said. If you just want to be that Valorant streamer and just play Valorant all the time and not really do much other than that, it's going to fail for you. Like I do think that networking does work to a degree, but it's more what you do on stream that really makes it.
So I just want to touch on something there. Asho's put in chat, perhaps another way of describing it would be a hobby streamer or a part-time streamer versus a full-time streamer. I'm going to have to disagree on that, because that still creates that segregation. It still says, oh, well, I've got to work for a living, I've got to pay my bills, so I can only be a hobby streamer. But yet, Joe Blow over there sitting on his ass, he's on the dole, he doesn't do anything, he just sits at home, he can be a full-time streamer. That still creates that segregation. So I think just not to turn that idea around or anything like that, but just get rid of anything that says I'm this or that. Like, we're just streamers in general. Like, Digi versus Yakes. Like they might play separate genres of games, or me and Speed. We're streamers. We're not hobby streamers. We're not part time. We're not full time. We're nothing more than just a streamer. Let's eliminate this whole thing and just get back on.
I mean, the only thing that really separates the smaller streamers from the big streamers is the smaller streamers don't get paid enough to do it full time. That's really about it. It just comes down to money at that stage.
Right. Exactly. I mean, that's probably the point, is trying to alleviate that.
So the money part, right? Let's talk about that real quick. Look at the income earnings on, say, one of the bigger streamers, say like a Dr. Disrespect, right? The money that guy makes is quite a bit. It's pretty substantial. But I've seen numbers way lower than his viewership on Twitch. Trovo make half that. And they have had a fraction of the viewership. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Dr. Disrespect on his first launch back, he had the highest grossing channel on YouTube ever, right? Highest grossing, highest amount of viewership. He had 500,000 people watching him. The biggest live stream in streaming history. His first week back. Somebody on Twitch, I think her name is Luna Da Vinci or whatever. She made half of what this dude made in donos, and had maybe 200-300 people watching her. You know what I mean? That's where, this is what I'm saying. This is why I think your influence matters probably the most, especially if you want to do this for money, right? If you want to do this for money, you can't just be staring at your screen like a zombie playing a video game and not interacting with people or not having a good time. I've seen people even on Glimmage. I've watched people here just stare at their screen like this, and I'm typing in their chat hey man, what's going on?
Looking at you down there.
Nothing for 5 minutes straight. I'm okay, all right, peace. I tried. It's just these things matter, and a lot of people want to kind of take those things out of the equation and just ride on fucking being a basic bitch streamer. And it's no, you can't do that. If you want to make something out of yourself, you got to be the one that puts in the work. You can't just, hey man, can I have a shout out, please? Thanks. Let me have 1,000 of your people that maybe 2 of them will stay.
I mean, I'll be honest. I look at my chat too much. I've actually had moments where I'm driving down the racetrack and I glance over the chat and scrape the wall. I'm just oh, whoops.
Have you seen me play American Truck Simulator? Come on.
So again, you point out the whole money factor. Would that then change the amount of influence that you you give, or have you seen that in the industry where people are doing it for the money, are putting in more effort, or those who are just having fun with it are just the ones that what do you feel gives more effort in the context of like you're saying, if you're doing it for money, and let's be honest, if anyone's doing it for money, they're probably doing it for the wrong reasons. I mean, that's a bonus to it, but you never should do that as a primary. But do you think someone who's doing it for money is maybe foregoing the amount of influence that they're giving off?
Right.
I mean, from my experience, I've seen streamers that clearly do it for the money, and I've seen streamers that are clearly doing it for fun. And I found that the streamers that are just there to have a good time are the better streams to hang out with, because you get a lot more quality chat interactions as between viewer and streamer. Whereas
but they're also
if you're
not
watching,
the streams that people do hang out in.
yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
But if you go to a stream that's like, popping off and there's donations and subs and all this going off all the time, and they're clearly like putting on a face to bring in that interaction, it doesn't seem as personal. It's like, oh yeah, thank you, okay, thank you, great, okay, cool, and then they just continue with what they're doing, and it just feels very impersonal, and you can really tell that within the first few minutes of tuning into a stream. So
yeah,
I think like that kind of breaks into what we were seeing on other platforms, and Mixer was one of it. Exactly. I'm not sure. I know Pucker was around it, and I know Speed, you probably around it as well. But when you've got those channels where they're doing it for fun, and then you start getting these little like donation wars or things like that, it kind of breeds more energy. So it brings more life to the channel, and then it makes that person doing it for fun actually feel, I guess, their influence, as Digi was saying before, is more credential in that aspect.
Yeah. See, like the way I see it, the only time you should start considering about money, like whether money is worth it, is when you've grown to a stage where it is a business. Like Dr. Disrespect. Yeah, to him, it is a business. I mean, he does huge promotional gigs. He's got sponsors coming out the wazoo. Like that is a business for him. You will not see him out in public not as Dr. Disrespect.
That's right.
Because that is his brand. That is his business. So yes, that's what makes him very popular. So.
I mean, why don't we just put it? When you get to the point where you have to start filling out a tax form for the money you're making on streaming, that's when it's a business.
Yeah, on what you said earlier, you're like, at what point do you stop caring and just have fun with it? I think it should be the other way around. You should just be having fun, just up until you are earning enough where you actually have to start worrying about how much you're earning.
When you need to
Then
start sterilizing
start
your channel, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, you do run the risk because you do run the risk of running everything into the ground because you're worried about money. But I mean, as long as you stick to your guns and you are just having fun, everything should work out.
Right.
Theoretically. Yeah.
Because I've seen it the other way around, where like they come up with a nice brand, they have the branding. Week 1 stream, sterile as shit. You can't even joke with some of these people. It's like, bro, am I watching Twitter right now? What the hell's going on, dude? Like, I say hi, and next thing you know, I'm offending somebody by just saying, I hope you had a good day. It's like, what?
Yeah. I've been there.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
It's like you go to some of these people's streams and it's like, yo, hi Reddit. I didn't know you had a live account. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
But it's funny like that, isn't it? Like, and then you see some of these like influencers or streamers that just continually bounce around, like platform to platform to platform to platform, and then they wonder why they can't grow. Like they wonder why the influence has no no connection with their community.
Yeah.
Well,
how do you make a community? How do you make a community and maintain said community by jumping around platform to platform. Like,
Oh yeah,
constantly.
you can't. No, you can't. Like you could your influence can get you so much, right? But
Yeah.
this one thing it can't do is buy people's patience. And I've got in fact, we have a few people that we know like this, Lord. How many people that are in my community, and because we have
Yeah.
shared communities, and
Yeah.
our people that want us to support them are jumping platforms on a weekly basis. And you're like, well, your community, if they're really your community, they'll stick with you. It's like, no, like your influence will only buy a certain amount of my patience before I'm done with you. And that's just a fact. Like, you can't just keep going back from Trovo, Twitch, Glimish once a month, Trovo, Twitch. It's like, no, like, I'm not going to keep making that little tiny jump back and forth. Like, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I respect the people that do follow me, because I don't switch platforms very often, first off, right? I went from Trovo from its launch, and Twitch from its launch from Justin's TV with only a name change, by the way. Streamed all that time, built up a pretty good community in that time, by the way. My first time ever switching and actually actually switched and stuck with it is now, like Glimish. I've left all those platforms for Glimish, and I've stuck to my guns. That's why I'm saying, like, I understand that you can't just keep going back and forth, thinking people are just going to continuously follow you, because it's not how this works.
No, it doesn't. I mean, there is a certain point, like obviously with the Mixer crash in 2020, obviously there was a certain point where people tried to stick with their communities and move with where they were going.
That was forced, though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. There was obviously that point. But then when you start going, okay, so I've moved from Mixer to Twitch, and now I'm going to go to Trovo, and now I'm going to go back to Twitch, and then I'm going to go and give YouTube a bash. And at some point, you got to understand that it's a problem where you're going to basically defeat your own sense of consistency. You know?
Well, but it's not even that. It's like they're obviously after something that they haven't found. Whatever that thing is, I don't even think they know what that thing is.
Like I just woke up this morning and I saw somebody only a week and a half ago said, hey, I'm going full-time YouTube. I was like, oh, okay. Right, so now I know where you're going to be. So I'll go and look at that. Okay, fine. I don't agree with it. I don't think that's going to be a good choice. I wake up this morning and, there's this thing on Twitter called Small Streamers Connect, right? Oh, share us your Twitch link, or, it was a Twitch restream or something like that, or relink. And it's like, hey, yeah, I'm on Twitch today. So you just said a week ago you're over on YouTube full time. You just told everybody this is where you're going to be. And now you've switched ship not even a week later. It's like, these guys, they wonder why they can't get a foothold and wonder why their influence means nothing and why people just can't chase them down.
And some of these people, Lord, you know this, they had better freaking bigger communities than the both of us combined, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, I'm like, how are you giving up 100+ active viewership that are pretty active in your channel, that are willing to donate to all of your shit that you need in your life, because you can't get paid out at a certain time frame? You know what I mean? That was one of the people that I'm talking about right now. Their reasoning for leaving Trovo was because they weren't getting paid out in a timely fashion, so they came to Glimish, right?
Yeah.
Now they're back on Trovo because they have the whole, like, MySpace equivalent to fucking streaming. And I'm like,
yeah, I know who you're
bro,
talking
like,
about.
you gotta pick your fucking battles. You can't just sit there and keep jumping ship over one little incremental thing. You have to actually pick something that you truly like and stick with that shit. Stop being a pansy. And yes, you're right. I did restream. And that's the thing, though, right? It was like, I know how to restream. So that's where another thing that was towards my benefit. I wasn't jumping from platform to platform. I stuck to multiple platforms for a long period of time. And I just sacrificed those other three and came straight to here and said, the hell with it, I'm done. So there's that.
When you get to the point that says, like, let's say platform A is not working for me anymore because of, whatever reason, before saying, like, oh, I'm going to jump to this platform and then find out that's not working, you need to just, like, take all the platforms and, like, look around at them and be like, okay, this platform offers this platform offers that, and this platform offers that. What is better for me in my current? And then just commit to it. Like, go there. Don't be like, hey, I'm going to go over here, and then, well, this isn't working. I'm going to go over here and here, and just you got to put a little bit more thought into it, or what's going to happen is you're just going to implode your channel and everybody's going to get lost. And
Well,
And
I mean,
exactly what Parko just said, right? They don't
Yeah.
want to spend the time to
Spend
actually
time.
build something real and stable.
well, I mean,
They want something now.
instant.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they want instant gratification. They want money flowing in. They want viewers. They want popularity now.
Well,
Then
you know, it's a funny thing because the streamer Digi's kind of referring to was actually I know who it is, and they kind of whinged and whined to get their own way on Trovo in the Discord to try and get moderation, and then all that mattered to them was being huge. Oh, I want to be the biggest face on this platform, and look, total respect. I mean, you've got to have balls to do that, but at what point do you then sacrifice your own being? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, like the problem is, and we spoke about this in the previous SideNote versions, but you've got these people like Ninja and Dr. Disrespect and Stroud and all these guys that are publicly making 20 million, 30 million, $40 million off these companies, even though these companies really can't afford that kind of money, especially when you're looking at millions of dollars of losses every year in revenue. And everyone goes, oh, well, I can do it. I want to be the next, I'm going to go to Glimish. I want to be the biggest face on Glimish, and they'll pay me thousands. They'll pay me millions of dollars because I'll be their biggest star. And that's that's the direction that people are, and the same with Trovo. They did it with bloody, was it Cowsip? I think it was. Come from YouTube and
that cloud.
Trovo. And biggest face on Trovo. Again, that's all they care about is because it's what they've seen. And so they think that's the pinnacle. But the pinnacle is being that person in your own community. No, it wasn't. It was all fake. It was all garbage. But rather than trying to be a big face on a platform, be the big face in your community. Let that shine and be the pushing power that pulls forward, because that's what's going to drag other people in, because naturally your community is going to talk. Going to be like, oh, you've got to come and see this. You've got to come and see this. Or,
Yeah.
And this is where I think some of these bigger guys are like, they act way too bratty to carry the sort of responsibility that they should carry, right? Like when you look at, say, like you said, Cowsep, right? The only reason why the guy even took the time to stream there was because he bratted his way to the top. Like he was a crybaby until he got what he wanted, because he felt like he was the most important person in the room, so he should be treated like it, right? This whole like self-indulged gratification shit needs to stop. That's the thing I have a problem with most streamers, and even some of our the friends that we were talking about in our circle, Lord. Like some of those people are the same exact fucking way. They'll sit there and they're like, "Oh yeah, I support smaller streamers," but then like in the same stream, they'll talk about how they should be getting at least 100+ viewers for the type of content they make. It's like, who decides what your content's worth? Not you, not me, right? Like I don't dictate what my content's worth. I let my community do that. That's the whole point of the fucking community. And the people that you and I were just talking about are very much into themselves. And it's like, you also like, and streaming is also partially not just for you, but it's also a selfless thing too. Like that's part of the influence part that comes in, is you want to see better from other people, right? And you want to see a drive to keep a community alive. And the only way to do that is to become a streamer yourself and show what this community can offer other people and make them want to join you. That's the main difference. It's not about, well, look at me. I have 1,000 active viewers. I have over 1 million views and impressions on Twitter. I'm bigger than you, you fucking ant. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell is it? Did we just turn it into CCP all of a sudden? Like, what?
That sounds like a classic case of main character energy.
Right? It actually is. I'm glad you said it like that. That's actually what it is. And Trovo is like, Trovo, when it started off as a, hey, we should help each other, is now ended into that, actually. That whole like selfish attitude of like, I have a right to do this and I'm deserving of this. It's like, no, bitch, like, no, you don't deserve anything. You deserve exactly what you put into something. And that's what you'll get back. That's how the universe works. It's a fact.
Yeah,
well, that's
exactly.
Right.
I mean, if you're sitting there on a stream, you're like, oh, man, I'm such a great streamer, and you're not really, just sort of sitting there, just sort of twirling your hair, and like, I need donations to pay my rent. And
but I mean, how is it? Like there was a
off.
big blow up a couple of years ago. It was a streamer on. It might have been Twitch, I think it was. You know, they said, "Oh, look, you've been here 5 minutes. Why haven't you donated yet?" Like, what?
That?
Yeah,
That was huge.
Like, how can you seriously say,
Yeah,
you can't
it's
just,
yeah. So I am the content
can't just have
provider.
people-
You've been watching for 5
Yeah.
minutes. How have you not subbed yet?
Not-
You should be
or
paying for
donated
my
or-
entertainment.
Yeah, right?
Like what?
Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's the level that you know. But I mean, also, like you were talking about those big streamers there, did you before? But look at the, I guess what you call publicity stunts. You know, look at the FaZe Clan, for example. You know, they put all these people out there, make them do dumb shit, so they get, you know, oh look, he got banned. Oh, everyone, quick, jump on there. You know, it's kind of a big publicity play to generate.
They want to be the next jackass.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Right? That's what it comes down to. Is like the jackass group are like some of the closest people, and they actually want what better for other people. That's what nobody talks about. But FaZe Clan and all those guys, like they don't really give a shit about each other. You know what I mean?
No,
they would probably
they
probably toss their version of Steve off of a real building, and if he died, they would laugh about it. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of mentality that they are. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, man, like, and that's another thing too. Is like, do you actually care about people or not? Right? Like when it comes to streaming, there's a certain level of you that has to like sort of give away of the caring part, so that way what people say doesn't bother you. But there's also that underlining thing. And I kind of went through this with DLive, and that's one of the reasons why I'm no longer on DLive, is I cared a little too much about my community on DLive. I had a situation in DLive that this particular individual was talking about self-harm and committing suicide. And that's not something that like I can just be like, oh, we can't talk about that. That's against TOS. You know what I mean? That's immediately dismissive of that person. So like I talked that person down. We had a good conversation. I ended up getting banned that night because self-harm was in my comments. I'm not kidding. The self-harm was in the comments. That was the first thing. The second thing was the whole, well, I don't want to get into that part of it, but it was a little political. Okay, fair enough. You've seen my streams. You know where it kind of went probably. But the first part was the self-harm. No, but the first part was the self-harm, and because it was tossed, and I'm like, so I go and I speak with my contact over at DLive. I said, look, man, like this person was literally 2 steps away from suicide. What do I do? Do I just ban them off of my chat and like hope they don't kill themselves, or do I be a truly caring human being and make sure my community member isn't gonna fucking hurt themselves? What's more important, life or the fucking toss of a fucking streaming platform? You know, it's like, man.
At what point do you stop being the streamer and become a person again and just say, shit, this person's in real need. Maybe I can just talk to them and you know, just get them just relax a little bit. Yeah, I mean.
Well, I think that's where the line, there shouldn't be a line there. There shouldn't be a line between who you actually are and who you are as a streamer. They should both be the same. Like,
in theory, yeah.
And I get it, like it's not exactly like a prime area to reach out to somebody and try to talk to somebody about some personal stuff like that, right? Like you probably shouldn't be doing that on stream, but some people can't fucking help it, dude. Like mental instabilities happen for a reason. We're all mentally fucked up for one reason or another, and some of us just don't know how to like differentiate that line, you know? Like we don't know sometimes, like, hey, I need some fucking help. I don't know how to reach out to people. And that's kind of how I took it with Kentucky. It was Kentucky. It was my friend Kentucky on DLive, and she doesn't know how to differentiate that. And it's like, at what point does this stop? You know, you know, you have to keep it being a business, and you stop caring about people. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think I could ever do it. I've still got that side of me that always just, I'd rather hear their story and be able to talk to them about it than just say, oh, you're talking about that. Sorry, that's bannable, ban. And then, you know, hear 2 weeks later that, you know, something's happened, you know, like, I don't think I could ever switch that off, like as a streamer. No. And that's why I guess in a lot of ways, it's why, you know, I just don't even bother trying. I just, you know, if someone comes in and they've had a bad day and they want to talk about it, I'm happy to talk about it, you know.
Yeah, you know, no, I'm the same. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I could be like deep focus into a game or something else, just, you know, right in the moment. But if someone were to jump into chat and just say they're feeling down, or you know, their girlfriend/boyfriend broke up with them, or they're just, you know, they're going through a rough patch, I will stop everything that I am doing and tend to whatever that is and try and just sort of mellow the situation out a little bit.
We see Mindy there just commented pretty much a bit of a sidestep on what we were talking about before about jumping platforms, but I'm saying there it irritates when people complain about a platform lack of support yet remain on the platform. Now that's a funny thing as well, because they say lack of support, but it doesn't. Is it really a lack of support, or is it a lack of their vision? Is the question. You know, people say, "Oh, Twitch is this and that, whatever." Yeah, sure, it's got its problems. We can all see it. It's all there, but again, they're sitting there saying, "Well, it's working for me. Like it's a safe spot for me. Like I know that, you know, it's not going to be the next Mixer. It's not going to be the next Altair. It's not just going to shut up shop. At least I've got a place. I'd rather stay here knowing it's got issues rather than jump ship and potentially lose everything." So that's a double-edged sword, and in that situation, I can kind of feel both sides of that, because, you know, I've been on both sides of that as well. But again, we've spoken about, you know, jumping ship. You're not starting fresh. You know, you're starting with tons and tons of experience.
But like, you know, what are they afraid to lose? Because it's not the community. Because whoever's there who actually gives a shit will follow you to wherever it is that you're going. So what is it?
Exactly.
Good degree.
What is it that's actually holding them back?
And Banjax actually makes a good point. Issues you care about can't get fixed if you're around to care about them. And you know what? That's actually correct. If more and more people left Twitch, I'm telling you right now, if more and more people, I'm saying like at least a number of, say, roughly 45%. 45% of their people, if they actually left Twitch, their shareholders would be forced to look into their problems and investigate internally what is going on over there. But we all know we have those big streamers that everybody has to fucking be like, right? Everybody wants to be like a Mizkif. Everybody wants to be like a fucking, you know, WoW streamer, say like Athene or Ninja. Like everybody wants to be like these people. And it's like, honestly, like, why can't you just be you? Why can't you just have fun and do your own thing? Why do you have to follow somebody else's hard work? Like, you think Mizkif became a popular streamer overnight? No, this kid has been working his ass off for this, right? Like, he networked with all the right people. Everybody thinks they could just be like everybody else and not put any work into it. That's the thing that people want most, so...
The problem being, if say 45% left from Twitch, I mean, they just replace them. It's just like, okay, next... You know, they don't care. Like, they'll just pick up another...
Who can we bribe to come over here?
How the hell are they going to replace 45% that chose to leave? That's my question.
Right.
45%, how are they going to all of a sudden just pull out 45% of people out of thin air just to replace them? There's no replacing. If 45% people actually said the hell with it and left, literally deleting their accounts, never to look back again, I guarantee you they would have to do something.
Yeah, the biggest problem,
I don't know.
Right, is that... people complain about everything on Twitch, but stay on Twitch just by them staying there. But I mean, they're kind of like, "Oh, I really don't like that," but they're not like overly vocal about it, and then just continue on doing whatever it is that they're doing. If you don't like it, you have to speak up about it or leave. I mean, like, they're your two best
let your feet
options.
do the walking at that point.
Like, you have to fight the battle, not just stay there and just be like, okay, well.
I mean, I like, and there's a limit to that too, though, right? Like, Lord, you remember my Trovo days, dude? Like when we were in that chat and their live streams and they were doing the AMA stuff. How many times did you and I and like half our community call their shit out and they ignored us? In fact, Stone was hiding behind his fucking computer when I was calling him out on his stream, right?
Yeah,
that kid,
I mean, you've got to call it out.
That kid was telling everybody, "Oh, I answered all the questions as honestly as I can." I'm like, "No, dude, you literally answered my question with another question. You circle jerked me, and I hate that, right? You can only fight the fight for so long before you had enough and you wash your hands of it. And that's a fact. Like, you can't just keep fighting these things when it just, all your information, all your facts, all the truth that you have and you understand just keeps falling on deaf ears. At this point, it's no longer about the platform. It's about what they can get as much as they can before this platform closes.
That's exactly right. But I mean, let's look back at that day off Twitch. You know, you say people, if 45% left and never went back, they'd have to look at it. But look at the day off Twitch. You know, like there was
that was
lot
a
of people,
day.
the big guys.
No, that was just a day though. That was a day.
But Twitch never even looked at it because there was just more people there to take over. There was more people that went,
wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. A day, a whopping day would be due, right?
I mean,
you know what I'm
and we
saying,
spoke about that too.
But what I'm saying though is those big guys who went off for the day, all that did is all the other streamers who weren't getting numbers said, "I'm not leaving." They just got all the numbers from Twitch anyway, so they just boosted them up.
It's like I said, bro.
You've got to have a lot of people leave from Twitch. 45% wouldn't cut it. It needs to be a massive
and it has to,
walkout.
dude. And it has to be more than just a day. A day ain't gonna do shit.
Yeah.
What did you think McDonald's is gonna go out of business if everybody stopped for one day to not eat from them again? No, they'll be okay after that. You know what I mean? Like,
what I'm saying though is the day proved that even if you lost 60% of your market, the people that are still there are just going to flourish anyway. So they're just going to build up. So they're not going to prove any points. They're just going to go, that's all right. We'll just pull in another 3,000 people. It doesn't matter.
But this is why I'm saying, like, this has to be more than just a day. This has to be forever from that point on.
You have to,
once they leave, they leave.
Everyone has to walk away. They have to delete accounts. Like, that's it. They have to have a loss in a major situation for it to work. But the day off Twitch was like, whatever. You know, it didn't really make much of an impact. It didn't show Twitch anything.
It was a blip on the radar. Like, they did not blink.
I mean, Twitch's numbers haven't been great in the last like 3 months anyway. Like, there's places you can see that their numbers haven't been great for the last 3 months. But
right,
you know, is that the, like, as we were just talking about, is that the smaller streamer who doesn't have the numbers, who's just bailed and gone, it's too hard? Or is it because, you know, you've got these big guys leaving and moving across to YouTube to try and build that up? You know, I think it would be more the smaller streamers who realize what's going on and refuse to conform. I think that's the sort of group that did the day off Twitch. Like, it's not going to be your medium-sized big streamers, because I mean they're already, you know, chest deep in the problem. They're not gonna stand up for what's right.
And see, like, that's the thing too, though, is like, how many people are you gonna have to fucking try to reach out to see if you could even make a difference of this? Because too many people are looking at Twitch as like the go-to place. This is where all the cool kids hang out. And it's like, but if you show them the truth about things, will it really change anything? From my personal experience, not really, unfortunately. I wish it did, but it doesn't.
And I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think that's kind of, we touched on this kind of last week. It's about the acceptance, and it's about the ability to speak and be heard. You know, like, if Twitch actually listened to the last 6 to 12 months of what's been going on around the community, they wouldn't be in the position they are. They'd be making changes. You know, it's as simple as that. They'd be like, oh, okay, our community isn't happy. Then they're not, you know, doing this. You know, and that's where, you know, having that voice, like when you were saying, you know, if they stay there after whinging, they're not accomplishing anything. But again, it's the same with any platform. You know, we could be on Trovo and whinge about Trovo. As if they're not going to listen, that's when you're not accomplishing anything. And that's where it's got to come back down to the heads of the platform, be it Trovo, Twitch, Glimish, YouTube, Facebook, doesn't matter where they are. It's got to come down to the top level guys really listening and saying, holy shit, our community isn't happy with our standards. We need to change. We need to make things different, you know, rather than just slapping out these instant like permabans on people because they made one screw up because someone reported it out of jealousy or spite. Investigate it and get back to it and say, look, what's going on? You know, because I tagged Speed in one of these the other day that, you know, there was an instant ban for someone who's on their first strike. You know, it's just like, wow, it's like, if they're not going to listen, that's where the problem lies. It's not with the people staying on the platform. It's the fact that the top dogs aren't listening. They just see it and do it and just don't care.
Well, when you have a contract that guarantees you I was going to say, if you have a contract that guarantees you a fixed amount of money every year for the next couple of years, and that's not including your following donating to you or subscribing to you, right? So, like, some of these guys get that like 50, 60, some of them get like a few $100,000 a year guaranteed from Twitch themselves. That, and again, not including donations, not including subscriptions, right?
Yeah.
if we can't make that change, like the way it needs to be changed in that community, that's why I said, like, you might as well just leave. Because those motherfuckers are making their $200,000. You know, what are you going to do for them? You know, $200,000 is a lot of money for some people. You know what I mean? Or for a lot of us anyway. I know I could fucking use it. You know, but like, I mean, but like, are you gonna be able to like replace that with people if you want this meaningful change to happen? You know what I mean? And a lot of those people that are getting that money, they don't give a fuck about the politics of Twitch. They don't care that they're on a white list, that they're protected. They can say whatever they want, and nothing they do will ever actually change a thing. Where like if it's you and me having this conversation on Twitch, I guarantee you, we could easily get banned within like 24 hours. Easy. That video would be eliminated.
You'd probably be banned midstream. Yeah. But the higher ups, they only care about growth, profit, and shareholders. That's it. Yeah. They don't give a fuck about anything else.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And BJX makes a good point there about the contracts are counterproductive for the industry as a whole. I mean, that is probably the biggest thing. You know, why should a streaming platform of any nature be doing contracts for streamers? Like, obviously, if a streamer gets, you know, Red Bull or you know, Monster Energy, things like that, if they get that on their back, I mean, that's off their own back, right? But I don't believe that a platform should be in any position to be advertising or giving out contracts for streamers on their platform.
Look at YouTube. MCNs were a thing for the longest time. Me and my buddy ran a few of those MCNs, and guess what? We lost all of our contracts because our mother company decided to take all the money that all of us earned together as a collective when it came to our community members and yeeted right off the fucking platform. Right? They averaged like $1.5 million a year off of 2 million people that were in that community that were a part of all of our MCNs. That was like the biggest like reason why multi-tiered marketing doesn't work, right? You look at Twitch and it's like I'm starting to see the same sort of behavior. You have these companies coming in and like, oh yeah, we want to sponsor this guy. And you know, Twitch is right there fucking bottlenecking them. So like, well, they have an exclusive contract to stream on our platform. So you could do your contract, but we want a bit of that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's exactly what MCNs did. They're like, oh yeah, you can have our guy for X, Y, and Z, but they have an exclusive contract with our MCN. So in order for this person to work with you, we need to have a conversation so we can have a bit of whatever it is you're offering our guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? And all these companies do are taking money out of the mouths of those that are streaming. It used to be at one point before Twitch started to get as big as it did, that all the donos that you did on Justin TV was yours. There was no sharing. There was no 30% cut. It was straight yours. There was nothing they could do to stop that. Now that Twitch has gotten bigger, now they found their fucking ways to weasel into your back pocket and take the fucking money out of there, even though they have no business doing that. Which is crazy to me because I'm like, yo, like, how are you guys okay with this? Like, homie literally drops $1,000 and over half that goes to fucking Twitch. For what? Why do they need that fucking money? They already have a subscription service that they've reported making like millions off of in the first year that it was established. So why are they taking money out of donos now? Right? And that's the shit that really bothers me. It's like, bro, like, at least with Glimish, everything's up in front. You know what's going to happen, and it's right off the point, right? When it went from Justin TV to Twitch, there was like this gray area for the longest time where people were getting charged for shit that nobody knew why. So when you got your dono, there'd be a deduction on your PayPal receipt, and you're like, where the fuck did this go? How the fuck did that happen?
That was the whole reason that other donation places started to come in, isn't it? Like PayPal started doing their, like, you know, share your thing and get like direct donations and things like that, you know, was to sidestep Twitch. So you could go, well, they're going to take this, I'm going to sidestep it and push it over here so that I get the full amount. Yeah. And I think that's, for the longest time, I think that's why we saw people saying, don't sub to me, donate to me, because they're taking, you know, 60% out of it. If you donate to me, $5 a month, I'm going to get that $5 a month. You know, it's funny to sort of see it though, isn't it?
But it's only gotten worse over time. Like, they're finding ways to just, they're like, oh yeah, we've increased the cut that the streamers get, but secretly on the side, they're like some other wanky way, they're
that's-
taking more money away from you. So
Yeah.
but
Oh,
people
yeah,
know
they
this.
little
People
sleight of
know
hand.
that this is an issue, and they're just completely
They don't
oblivious to
say
the fact.
anything.
Yeah,
They're complacent
And
in the entire action, and they pretend like it doesn't bother them.
like, why support a
Just to save
platform
face.
that is just out to strip you of your money? Like, this is money
And
that
that's the
people
thing,
are
right?
giving you as a streamer. Like, you
Mhm.
should be getting that money within reason. Obviously, there's fees and whatnot. Not just,
see, and that's the
hey, we
thing.
just want to take a few extra
But-
bucks from you because
And that's the thing.
we are who we are.
And that's the thing with Glimish, right? With Glimish, you got like these guys here at Glimish, like they take care of all that shit, like the fees and stuff for the donos and whatnot.
Mm.
Why can't Twitch do that? Why? Why can't they?
Because they would lose.
Why are
too
they
much
making
money.
their Glimish is literally a startup with like fucking like $0 fucking revenue coming in, and they're doing a better job than a multi-million-dollar fucking company, dude. It's so annoying, dude. It's absolutely
Because-
wild to me.
So I mean, it's like with all business. I mean, there's got to be an increase.
Yeah.
So they started with 5%. Now they're making 6%. Then they're going to go up to 9.5%. So it's going to keep building until it gets to a point where streamers actually start realizing, oh, I'm losing 30, 40, 50% now. I'm getting really nothing for what I'm doing. Like this isn't working.
But at that stage,
at
they
the end
wouldn't
of the
blame
day,
the
just-
platform.
It's just going to be so slow to progress to it. They're not going to really notice it anyway.
Yeah.
Twitch is being hosted for its profit, and that's it. Like, if Twitch was not making profits, Amazon would be like, see you later. They don't
Well,
care
yeah.
about the creators. They don't care about the streamers. They don't care about the viewers. All they care about is that income that's coming in from that.
But like the
And that's
streamers
the biggest
wouldn't.
difference.
I saw
The streamers wouldn't blame the platform at that stage.
Nah.
Right? They
No,
wouldn't
they'd
be
blame
like,
Amazon.
oh, clearly there's something broken with the platform. I'm not making as much money as I used to be. They'd be like,
Yeah.
shit, I need more viewers. I need more subs. And they just go down that train, which fuels the fucking fire. They're not.
Oh, all they're going to do is blame Bezos for another fucking rocket. That's all. Oh, he's just taking more money for another rocket. Like that's all it's going to be. Like they're not going to look to the platform. See, I guess in a lot of ways, when you don't like Glimish don't have that corporate backer, so when shit hits the fan, it hits the fan within the Glimish building and says, hey, what's going on? Where with Twitch, they can just say, oh no, it wasn't us. Amazon made us do it, and they can palm the blame, and. Everyone's going to go, oh, bloody Amazon. Oh, I'm not going to get my Amazon Prime this month, and that'll hurt them. And Twitch go, we're still making 70%. We don't care. Like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. And I think that's also the biggest problem with the corporate backer when you've got a platform like, Glimish and Twitch and stuff like that, when you've got that big investment, and it's one of these situations where, as an influencer, as a streamer, whatever you want to call it, you've got to be looking at your bottom dollar. You've got to be looking at your baseline. If you're making 1 sub, 2 subs, no subs, you're still going to be looking at it. It's, you've got to be looking at your best interest. Because
But I
again,
mean,
I've got people that say, "Oh, I'd go to Glimish, but no one will come follow me." Well, yeah, okay.
How do you know?
You've got you.
How do you
you've
know
got
if
a
you
group
don't
of-
try?
But the
mean,
community
but
is only 20 strong, and he streams to 2 people. You could come over to Glimish, you're at least going to have 4 people, so you've already doubled your number. Like, like straight away,
it's
if you're
not-
that worried about it,
It's not just about bringing your community over. It's about building onto the community that you already have.
that's right.
So by going somewhere
You're not
new, you
changing
have that
Discord, are
opportunity
you?
to grow.
No.
It's
You're not
So many
changing
of my
Discord,
people were
are you?
like, kind of iffy making an account at Glimish. They're like, what's this?
Yeah, they were.
Like,
I read your
what the fuck?
Discord.
It's
What
it's
the
just a
fuck's
fucking
Glimish,
account.
dude? And I'm like, dude, I said, just try the platform out. Just make an account. Follow me like you normally would so we could keep up on our conversations. Trust me, it's not that bad. It's actually a pretty good site. And he was like,
Oh.
yeah. Like my biggest detractor on my community member is Meme. Okay. Meme was like, oh, dead platform. He makes an account on Glimish and he's all, wait, this has FTL? I'm like, yeah. He's all, wow, the 1080p actually looks really fucking good. I'm like, I know.
Well, it's like this
But
guy.
see,
down
like-
the
So
bottom.
now he's got an account and
He
he
didn't-
follows me, watches
He
us.
didn't have a
So-
clue, and it was
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
Well,
another
it-
mutual friend of ours that I got. That he got Yates over here.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
you guys know, like, I do a lot of sim racing, right? And I have
Yeah.
Glimish logos all over my truck, and on the back of my truck it says live at glimish.tv/x87. I get probably like once every couple of weeks, someone in the race will be like, "What's Glimish? Is that like Twitch?" And I'm just like, "No, but yes."
Yeah.
On the
It's like,
fundamentals, yes, it's like
Yeah,
Twitch. It's a
on the
streaming
fundamentals,
platform.
yes, it
Outside of that,
is.
it's
But it's
nothing
like,
like
no.
Twitch.
But it's like
Yeah.
they asked me that like while we're in the middle of a race, and I'm like, I can't like give you like the full answer of like why Glimish is different from Twitch in the moment.
Yeah.
But it's
But,
like,
like-
just simply like, yeah, it's a smaller streaming platform. I'm over here. It's
Yeah.
awesome. So
Yeah, but like one of the problems that has come around though is that you advertise Glimish as using FTL, and a lot of people know about FTL from Mixer, and they immediately
Mixer, yeah.
join those two together.
Yeah.
Um,
That's created its
So-
own problem.
and that creates a massive problem because they're like, oh, but Mixer used FTL and Mixer
Yeah.
died, so fuck,
Oh,
Glimish is dead
see-
already. I don't even know why you're bothering.
In
Yeah,
fact,
that's-
in fact, meme made that comparison. He's all, oh, this is like Mixer. I'm like, well, I guess that's actually a better comparable
mean-
than fucking Twitch. So
Yeah,
I'll take
Twitch.
it. You know what I mean?
I mean, the comparable between sort of Glimish and Mixer, I mean, again, that's fraught with danger because a lot of people see what happened to Mixer, but they don't understand that Microsoft was only ever using Mixer to get the FTL for their cloud gaming. It was never going to last. It was never going to stay open. It was always going to be shut down.
mhm.
Otherwise they would have kept Mixer open and just gone with cloud gaming as a separate entity. They would have kept it.
Mm-hmm.
It was never going to stay.
Yeah.
So, then
So
people
I-
say, oh, but Mixer crashed, Mixer died. So, they instantly go, well, Glimish is not going to last either. But they don't understand that this isn't corporate owned. Like it's...
Well, I guess
It's
the question
not-
is, how do we advertise Blemish then? Now, if we try to get the best out of the situation,
can't.
and we can't use
mean-
FTL, I mean, because obviously FTL's got a bad
I
name
mean-
around it.
I mean,
You know-
yeah, like Benjack's just saying, you got to use the open source. You've got to use it as a point of productivity. Like this is an open source platform. Come in, build a feature, get it on the platform, show people what you can do. It's kind of like its own billboard for, again, like Memory Leak and Mytho and all. I mean, Mytho made Glimboy, so again, it's kind of a bit of a billboard to show you that, hey, we're making features. These people are using these features. Check it out. It's got to be, I think it's got to be pushed on the open source. And I think that's where, AKA the whole show at the moment, the small streamer needs to look at, this is an open source. You can make your own future, your own destiny. You can make your own features if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, essentially, it's like Burger
obviously
King.
you've got
Have
to
it
push.
your way.
Yeah. But on that-
Sometimes some of these sites like Glimish, their biggest selling point could be the influence that's starting it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying before. Sometimes your influence is more important than the numbers you gain. So, like, if you get the influence out
exactly
there,
right.
you can easily flip the script and get shit coming and going. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But we
But I
don't
think
have
I-
people that think like that.
No, because everyone's dollars.
Yeah.
But no, the
Memory.
open
I think
source
it's the
and the-
only.
And the cut.
It's the only community. It's the only openly community-driven site.
Right.
There are others
oh,
that have influence, but it's not like.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I think Brime's an open source as well.
Is that to
Prime
what
was,
degree
but
though?
they got
I
bought
mean,
out
that's
by somebody, right?
yeah. They're now a corporate entity, so.
I'm not sure. No,
There you
not
go.
open source now. Okay. Well, I mean,
There
it's
you go.
still active. You just, I don't know, like it's there. Like
I think it's more the
Brime.tv
community
or something,
can
but
influence its direction, but it doesn't have
Yeah.
direct like
They
I
impact
love
on it.
I just on a side note, I love the way Brian looks, but I hate the fucking name. I hate that name.
I'm with you. I hate the name too. The name just sounds like gross.
Yeah,
Right, dude? Exactly.
like I remember checking it out, and I loved the site. The site was very snappy. Everything worked really quick, and it was fluent, and it was a great feel to the whole platform.
Mm.
Yeah, Brime. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
It's,
Yeah, I mean
they-
that's the thing. I mean it's it's what you get used to. It's what people get used to calling home, I guess. Like,
Right.
I mean, us now, like I know for me and Speed, like it's not even a fucking thing. We don't even think like when we're going to load up, or do I go to my Twitch profile on OBS? So it's just bang, it's there. Like you just get so used to it. You're talking to people on the street, like, oh, do you stream? Oh, yeah, we're Glimish. It's like you don't even think about it. It's not like you've got to stutter and go, it's that weird name. It's there. It's what people get used to.
yeah. I mean,
We were the same with
that
Trovo
site.
at the start.
I mean, even Dr. Disrespect's building his own streaming site. But, God,
he's making a game. He's making a stream. I mean, is there anything he's not doing? I mean,
being
except
himself
forgetting
out
about
in public.
See, not my Gilgamesh. But that's the other funny thing is too, is like these big streamers or like these Dr. Disrespects and all that, they seem to forget where they started. They seem to forget where they came from. And I think that's the other thing is when people get to a certain level, they forget where they came from. Like I know, like I've known Digi for a long time, and even back when he was, pushing the bigger numbers, but it hasn't changed him as a person. Like as a streamer, he's always been that kind of like I've started on the floor, I've crawled my way up the ladder. I'm gonna, be there for those that are crawling up the ladder, and that's always a thing. But yeah, it's funny.
It's important that you always remember where you come from. You never forget it.
But you have to.
Yes.
If
to.
you forget it, you start becoming that self-entitled little prissy bitch. You know what I mean? And if you do that, you lose yourself. You lose the part that made you good at what you did.
And that's the other thing. Like you touched on something before about being in those communities, Digi. And I know there's a lot of people that try and do. I know you do it with your Discord and stuff about sharing links. But at what point are links pretty much useless?
Oh, that's why I told you before. Like it's literally based on whether or not you are going to want to be an influencer or not. If you're just going to be a basic streamer who never talks to people, then those links aren't for you. You know what I mean? Those links aren't going to help you.
What I'm saying is, like, say I go live and I post in your Discord, is there any real point for me doing that? Because at the end of the day, you're relying on people who aren't really there because it's a Discord full of people that aren't active.
Yes and no. It depends on my people. It depends if they follow me. If they follow me and they know I fuck with you, then more than likely you'll get like 2 or 3 people. You're not gonna have the whole server flocking to you, obviously. But you'll have like 2 or 3 people that'll come by and be like, "Hey, man, what's up?" I know Najee will do it. I know Don will do it. I know Meme will do it, and I know JC definitely will do it.
So that's what I'm saying. Those other people that we've been in.
Right. But I mean, yes and no. You know what I mean? Like, if you want a big turnout, probably not. But if you want, somebody to watch you to say, hang out with you or something, yeah, I'd say it's worth it. Why not?
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying. Like in some of those communities, because they don't really support those types of processes, do they? They want to support the little guy. They want to help the little guy, but they won't push the fact of supporting them through getting those links up and encouraging their community to go and go and view these guys, go and check it out.
Let's talk about the little guy, right? So Twitter, as you know, we're posting their links and saying, "Hey, you guys have little numbers. If you want bigger numbers, post your link." Yeah. You and me have been trolling the hell out of that, by the way. Great, love it. Because my guy's over here like, "Hey, what about Glimish?" And I'm over here like, "Yo, what's a Twitch? Can I eat it?" I'm just fucking with people. So, and somebody sat there on their post said, "What does Twitch mean to you?" And I said, "Moving slightly to the left or to the right out of fear." I couldn't help it. But anyways, we had mentioned like, hey, if you guys support small streamers, why not go to other platforms? Why do we always have to be on Twitch? Because I haven't gotten an answer yet.
That's it. There is either Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. That's it. They're the three. They're the three that you will only ever see being promoted.
It's because they're all profiting off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter gets money for promoting Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Facebook gets money for promoting Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, and it's a cycle. Like, they don't make money by promoting Glimish.
Yeah.
No.
So why would they?
But here's
They're
what
not going
I
to.
think about things, right? So if you're a smaller streamer, why are you going to a bigger platform to try and be big? You're going to get drowned out in a matter of seconds, by trying to be on there. Why don't you, as a smaller streamer, go to a smaller streaming platform where, if you do, say, get 5 viewers, you may be the most popular person on that streaming platform. I mean, and by being in that position, you will grow exponentially to a point where you're like, this feels great. Like, even though you don't have the hundreds of viewers that you had on the other platform, why? Why not do that?
We've got one of those people in chat that has had that glory moment. Banjax was thought to be the CEO with Mix It Up. Like, Mix It Up thought Banjax was the CEO of Glimish. Like, So again, it just poses that thing: is you can be you can be a bigger face on a smaller platform without being that bigger face, if that makes sense. I mean,
there's such an opportunity to not only grow as a streamer, but grow the platform itself. If you are a smaller streamer.
Oh, exactly. And I mean, like, you say, how do you grow the platform? And everyone comes and goes, oh, it's too small. How do you grow it? Well, freaking advertise it. Put it out there. Like, we did the other day, Speed, with
commit to it.
Turbo Golf Racing. Put it out there.
Yeah.
Hey, we're exclusively on this. Push that.
I grew a fresh Twitch channel with this logo and everything, brand new. The first time, by the way, I've grown it twice now under this name. First time, I got up to over 1,500 subscribers in the first freaking couple of months. All right. Second time around, took a little bit longer, but I'm up to like 300 and something on Twitch the second time. So you can do it. Platforms can do it. It's a thing. We forget about that because we're so focused on the immediate gratification of growth. We don't care about the long game. We care about the short game with the immediate gratification. And that's something that I think is bred into everybody nowadays. And that's going to be what is going to keep people from streaming more often because of that.
We see the funny thing is, Speed and I have spoken about this. I think Yakes and Almay even touched on this as well, is everyone wants the platform to advertise, to tell people they are there.
Mm-hmm.
Is it up to Glimish? Is it up to Twitch, Facebook, all that to promote my channel? Is it up to them to say, I am here on this platform? No. It's my job to go out there and tell people that I'm on this platform. Like, it's up to me to do it. That in itself is marketing for myself, but also for the platform, because people are going, oh, what's this? They're just going to click on the link. They're just going to want to check it out because the curiosity, it's going to get the better of them. They're seeing it constantly. Oh, I can't see him on Twitch. Why is he not here? They have to hit that link. And it's curiosity. And then at that point, you've got a window. You've got a window. And any of these streamers who have grown and kind of built themselves, they know they've only got a limited window to capture that person. When they jump in and be like, oh, I've only just found your link, you've got to catch them quick. And if you miss that opportunity, well, at that point, you're blowing it for yourself, but at the same time, you've also made it really hard to try and convert people to the platform.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing if the platform wants to promote somebody. Good. I mean, the growth won't be for longevity. It'll be immediate, but it'll be discouraging further. You know what I mean? It'll discourage a person further to see that they have, say, 200-300 people and only one person is on their stream. That's gonna fuck with people. That's why I think if you're a big streamer, it's not exactly a benefit to do that to somebody. And that also, I know that also kind of goes against what I was saying earlier about the influence, and that's also why I said you have to be more than just somebody who stares at a screen all day. So it's completely up to you whether or not you make it or break it. So,
I'm all for a platform promoting a streamer, like say if Glimish did it. But there can't be any favoritism. It must be
Right.
random. It can't be the same people, every now and then. You literally have to cycle through. But it should be more about. So it's sort of where it gets weird. So the platform should be promoting its features to try and entice people in. The streamers should be promoting the streamers to entice people in. Because, I mean, we're all here to sort of support each other and build the platform. So
That's right.
We've all got to play our part.
I think, the platform's got to market its brand. I mean, that's the thing. It's got to market its brand.
Speaking of which, have they been active on their Twitter? Like, I've been looking, and it seems like
we discussed this last week. No, last show. We did discuss that last show, and it had
that's the thing.
The promotional side of the platform has gone a bit quiet. But I think quite some time now.
The main point is it's not up to the platform to promote the people on it. It's up to the platform to promote its brand. And then it's up to us to promote ourselves on it, or, AKA sharing Yakes' channel. Hey, I'm hanging out with Yakes. Come swing on by and have a look. He's just found a reverse on a forward racing, car. He's supposed to be driving forwards and he's racing backwards. Just making dumb little things just to get people going, what the I'm going to go and look, and they come in and, he's doing weird shit. So, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's up to that to try and build that influence that you're talking about to bring that influx in.
Yeah. And I think that's where the problem kind of lies at the moment, where a lot of the streamers here on Glimish are just sort of hoping that Glimish would promote itself.
Well, that
not really.
How often
not
we
really
heard that
being like, okay, we'll give you a helping hand. We'll get your name out there. They're just like, oh,
how often have we heard it?
They don't care about themselves, so whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, how often have we heard it in the last, say, 12 months? Like, let's be fair.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd come to Glimish, but then they've got no advertising, so no one's going to find me. Like, what?
I mean, it's either
why is it Glimish's issue?
Or there's no people on the platform. I mean, it's one of those two.
Advertise it and get people on the platform yourself, or are you just worried that your people are going to find other people that they like and they're not going to want to be around you?
I mean, it's going to take time. It's not like, yes, we're over 12 months into the platform, but the platform isn't going to explode in those 12 months. It's not going to become this massive thing. It's going to take time, just like, Justin TV did. It takes time to get that momentum growing.
Look at something more recent. Compare it with something more recent like Trovo. Trovo was nothing when we went there after Mixer Crash. It was nothing. It was bare bones. It was, I mean, Digi will tell you, because he was there pretty much the same time I was. It was bare bones. It was absolute. We had to create our own alerts. Like, I had buttons on my Stream Deck to play videos through my OBS because there was nothing on the platform. There was nothing for the platform.
Yeah.
Like, we had the best, me and Digi, I think, had some of the best alerts on Trovo. I went to the guys, I said, hey, give me the character, give me your logo. Like, I want that thing. And what was it, Leon, wasn't it? It was a little dragon?
Yeah.
Little
Leon,
lizard?
Yeah. The little lizard, yeah.
We actually named him, didn't we? Like, way back in the day, like, the community named that as Leon. There was nothing there. There was no advertising. There was nothing. And even now, I haven't seen anything really on Trovo except for people sharing, hey, thanks to you guys hanging out my Trovo stream, or hey, I'm going live, or hey, here's my 10,000, follower bloody plug. I haven't actually seen Trovo themselves.
Hey guys, here's my third box that I'm going to drop for the stream for you guys just for today. Thanks for following, by the way.
But you know what I mean? Like, I haven't actually seen Trovo generically advertising and pushing their point. So, again, a lot of Trovo growth has come from the people within that community. So, Glimish can work the same way. It can really work if
more people actually just locked down and gave it a fucking honest chance instead of streaming here for a single week and being like, I didn't see nobody come by. Nobody wanted to talk to me.
But like, that's what Banjax just said.
For like one day.
Right? Yeah.
But like that's what Banjax just said. Like it's the lack of commitment. Like people are too afraid to dig their feet in and be like, I'm gonna stay here for 6 months. Not a week. A week isn't gonna do shit. You can't be like, oh well, I only streamed twice and there was no one. It was kind of boring, so I'm gonna go back over to Twitch. You've got to dig your heels in and commit for a large period of time to see some like actual sort of data come through.
Yeah, I mean, we had one speed from Mixer. We had someone come over from Twitch. Came over and created their account. They were chatting to Storm, and I love Gloomish. It's so good. Where have they been for the last 4 months? Back on fucking Twitch. They did one fucking stream and then pissed off. Like, I mean,
I get it.
Again, like, how can you seriously equate? Like, I do get it. Yeah, not every site's going to work, but how can you seriously do one stream, say it's great, and then never step foot back in the door again?
Like, what about it?
It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, what about it was so good that you love it, but no, you went back to Twitch. And the funny thing is, they actually had more viewership here than they did on their other channel. They actually had more viewers here than they did on their Twitch channel.
You know what's weird is these people will do that, right? They'll hang on to their 1,000 subscribers or followers on Twitch, right? With only 2 motherfuckers watching them. And I'm like, why? Why do that? There's no point in that. There's none. Like you could sit here and promote yourself on Twitch to the end of days and get 5,000, 10,000 followers. But how many of those motherfuckers actually fuck with you like that? I bet you maybe one person.
The funny thing is, this individual actually said, I'm sick and tired of low numbers in my chat. Like, I've got no active chat. They had 7 or 8 people in their chat, right?
What?
They came to Glimish, had 14 people, and they were just chatting away. It was talking up a storm. They couldn't even focus on the game. And they're like, oh, I really love this. This is great. And then they buggered off. Went back to like 6 people again. It's just like, you've got nothing.
But that's the thing,
again, the numbers aren't a big thing, but it's crazy.
They go for those big follower numbers. They're like, oh, I've got 1,000 followers, but I've only got 5 people in chat. And they still keep grinding, for those bigger numbers. That's not how it works. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. It's about the people actually watching your shit.
Yeah,
because
I got 1,000 people, but
those
I've only got
995 people don't give a fuck about you. They just wanted to see their name on the screen or have a shout out. That's all they give a fuck about.
This is like the Trovo chat all over again, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We had this so much.
I've had 100 people in my streams on Trovo, and I guarantee you those motherfuckers, all they cared about was one thing. What could I fucking give them? And if they weren't there to talk, they got pissed because I was saying hi to them and they didn't want to talk. They're like, why are you calling us out for? I'm like, I'm not calling you. I just said hi. Jesus Christ, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's crazy.
You say about being called out, but that was one of the dumb things that Trovo implemented, wasn't it? Is when you joined the chat, it would flash up saying, "Oh,
it automatically had their names come up."
Digital Fracture has joined the chat. You're like, so you don't even get a chance to lurk and listen to the stream. It's just like, hey, they're here. It's like, well, hi.
But like, I knew someone who had over 3,000 followers, right? They had 3,000 followers and they had like 8 people watching or chatting. Like, your follower numbers don't define who you are. No. It's
my favorite thing is when these people like to claim that they're a bigger streamer and they shit on smaller streamers, right? When they claim that they're a bigger streamer and they're small, you go and you look at their stream when they're streaming that day. You will see more fucking numbers on their goddamn account than actual fucking names, dude. They're fucking stupid. That's it. They're fucking dumb bots, dude. And I'm just like, how are you going to sit here and shit on somebody when you literally just paid for your community last month? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, right, bots. Like, that's crazy. The bot system is... But that's the
you know how many times I've seen, like... You know how many times I've seen names like Tiger 36, and then underneath it was like Tiger 37, Tiger 38, or one of my old friends that I had recently had a following did the same exact thing. You saw his name, and then you saw 5 of his same name with numbers at the end of it, watching his channel. And I'm like, and that motherfucker was like, I had 10,000 followers. Thanks for my plaque, Trovo.
Yeah, I paid for 9,820 of them, but thanks.
Jesus, dude. That shit irritates me. I'm sorry, Smee. I didn't mean to cut you off, man. It just
No, that's fine.
it pisses me off because they'll compare themselves to smaller streamers. And immediately when you go and you look at these so-called analytics and their numbers, and it's like, wow, you go to Social Blade, you technically only had 2 people watching you, but in your viewer account it said over 5,000. So you're lying. You actually bought your channel. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. That's an analytical fact.
Yeah,
You
can't hide it.
That, you know, the numbers game, you know, it affects the smaller streamer. I hate using the fact smaller streamer, but there's really no other way to describe it right now.
I know, yeah.
It affects the smaller streamer because it gets into their head. You know, especially with Twitch, because you've got those achievements, and they've just reworked some of their achievements too, might I add. You know, so there's always that push, you know, for numbers. There's no other incentive there, you know, to stream.
The problem being with that, though, is they're looking at the wrong number. They're looking at a follower count, not a viewer count. That's the problem.
Even be looking, but even the viewer count is still it still fucks with your head.
You shouldn't be looking at either one, in my opinion.
No, but
yeah, it should really come down to the fact that, you know, oh, such and such is back. You know, they were here for my last stream. Oh, they've come back for another chat. That's the main thing. You know, you know, so and so. You know, all these group of people have come back again to watch and chat with me. That's what should matter, not the viewer count, not the follower count.
I'm not disputing that.
Yeah,
I'm not disputing that. But what I'm saying is everyone pushes a follow count. I've got 10,000. I've got 15. I've got 25. If you're going to look at a number and you want to give yourself a direction to push harder on, use your viewer count. I've got 2 today. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get the next person tomorrow. So then I've got 3. That's probably the only real number you should look at is a viewer count. So you can gauge, okay, I was playing Fortnite and I had 6 viewers. I'm playing WoW and I've got 1. Like, okay, obviously that caters a little bit to my thing, but what was I most comfortable playing? Oh, I don't mind playing Fortnite, so I'll go and play that for a while. Build your basis so you've got those regulars come back in so they can sit with you and understand what you're doing.
I mean, I played Sudoku
the follower count
and had 12 people watching. Sudoku!
Oh, yeah, I remember. That's what I'm saying. Sudoku,
if you have the viewer count where you can just see where you're progressing naturally, you know, and like, that's probably the only one you really need to have, if any at all, is just a viewer count. You don't need to know how many followers you got. It shouldn't be in the forefront. It shouldn't be at the bottom of the channel going, you know, you've got 9,000 followers. Because at the end of the day, like you were saying, you can have 10,000 followers and 4 people chatting. Like at the end of the day, it's nothing. It's irrelevant to the situation. That's what people are saying. Oh, I can't leave my 4,000 people. But bro, you're shooting to 5 people, and you've got 2 talking. Like you've got 5 viewers. That's your number. You're not 4,000. You're 5. Like that's what it's got to come down to.
Yeah.
And you know what's fucked is like a lot of these companies literally go off of those numbers. So if you want to get a sponsorship and stuff, like lately, my Twitter's been popping off. You know how many fucking thumbstick grip things have reached out to me? Go, hey, did you want to work with you? I got one guy telling me, hey, we should do something, but here's the thing: I need you to buy into the silver package. I'm like, what the fuck's a silver package? It's like $200 worth of fucking grips. I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do with $200 worth of grips, dude? Well, we want to put your name on our product. I'm like, wait, I have to pay you for you to use my name on your product. That's how this is working? No, we're good. No, I'm not working with you, bro.
Yanks would do it. Yanks would do it. New grips for his pedals. He'd throw $200 in easy.
Oh, dude.
No.
It helps him drive better.
But like, that's the shit that they do, though. That's like these companies work on an algorithm for hits, right? So if your channel gets enough hits on, say, Twitch, Trovo, D Live, Brime, you know, people that are in the search engine, like they'll, that's the problem, is like they don't look at the active viewership most of the time. They look at the channel numbers and they're like, oh, last month you did 50,000 hits and you garnered yourself 1,000 new followers. Hey, we want to work with you over at Manscaped. It's like,
yeah, but like at that stage,
but like the channel was
letting-
botted, but they don't care if it was botted. What they care about is a possible hits that
The
you can
numbers.
get off of your residual, right? Because that's what they're really going by, is a residual viewer hits. Like, what do you do at that point? It's like,
But at that stage, you're leaning more into the business side of things.
and well, that's the thing, is they're connected regardless of how we look at it, right? Like the business side, the open source stuff, like it's all fucking intertwined one way or another, regardless if we like it or not. Businesses are here to stay. And the only way for people to catch a fair shake is if we stop actually caring about the fucking numbers and truly start caring about one another and helping each other. Not just this bullshit of here's a fucking link, go, bye, see ya.
Yeah.
And
Like,
there are times where Lord's streaming, I'll stream his fucking stream on my stream. There's been days where I've done that. Yeah. Yeah.
Clone's done it for
as,
SideNote. Like he's been on his stream and he's pulled up SideNote. So I mean,
yeah,
it's just a way to do it.
But as
All right,
Javier
man,
just put it, and I totally agree with that. You stream, have fun in the process, and people who really care about it, will show up, and that's it.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the point.
That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
That's how you will grow.
If anyone's looking at a number, the only thing they need to be looking at is their viewer count, and that's what they need to judge their channel off, not the number of follows. So it's just funny, like the whole situation around, like the small streamers connecting and stuff like that. It's just ridiculous.
I mean,
Yates needs a fucking pillow and a blanket.
And see, and that's another thing, Astro. Like, I actually agree with you on that. The dialogue and the conversation is actually really important when it comes to being a streamer. It's not just about playing the fucking video games, but it's you actually interacting with people.
Yes.
And here's the thing, and I think that's also, like, here's the theory about this too. Why bigger streamers, they're so scared to lose what they have is because if they actually put their honest opinion about anything out there, they're afraid that they're going to lose what they already have, and also why they don't help smaller streamers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where if you're a smaller streamer, guess what? I'm an asshole. You're an asshole. You're an asshole. You guys are a cocoa puff, but you're somewhat of a dick, but you're fun. Like, Wait, but you guys see what I'm saying though. Like, but we've bonded, right? Like we're all pretty cool with each other. We're good. But that's the thing, right? Like, if it wasn't for that, and say we were all just defaulted to bigger streamers, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We wouldn't be self-aware enough to actually care about shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's right. I mean, you find yourself, and like Shin's just saying there in the chat, you kind of find yourself as a family. You're that weird brother that nobody wanted, but you kind of absorbed into another group where you're all that weird brother that no one wants. I've seen your bloody jelly bean videos. Don't make me post that in chat. I will post your YouTube video.
Hold on. Yakes, what the hell is this man talking about, Yakes? Come on, Yakes. Jelly beans?
Anyway.
Bro.
Okay, I'll just real briefly. Okay, so back at, before I started streaming, I was just doing like YouTube videos, and I was like, oh, the YouTuber. So I was like doing all these YouTube videos because I didn't have enough bandwidth to actually stream. So I got my brother together, and we did a video where we were just playing Bean Boozled. So we were just eating jelly beans.
The epitome of a small streamer having fun. Eating jelly beans. Making a YouTube video.
Yeah. It was like a 12-minute video of us just going back and forth eating disgusting jelly
Flicking the thing. Oh, I'm going to eat this one. Oh, your turn.
Wow.
But that's the sort of thing that, it's kind of pushed this discussion is that, what do you do? Like, if you don't set your targets on something, you don't start somewhere, what are you going to do?
Just have fun.
I mean, if I ever see him doing that on Glimish, I'm tuning out instantly. But it was funny.
But I mean, as we've
fuck
always
him,
said,
Yanks. I got you, jelly beans, bro. We got this.
don't make me grab my jar of jelly beans. Don't make me do it.
uh,
But like as we've always said, you know, it's all about having fun and enjoying what you're doing. Because if you're enjoying what you're doing, it sort of rubs off on whoever's watching. You know,
But I mean, that energy
they're going to
translates
enjoy whatever they're watching. And
yeah,
What
well,
translates?
individual
The rubbing off?
Oh yeah, that too. But no, it translates to your community, doesn't it? Through your
Please.
stream, you know, you
not
push
here.
that energy out to them, and they want to be more included.
Well, so speaking of like energy and stream, I tried a stream earlier this week. I think it was like Monday or something. I saw they added MotoGP to Game Pass. So I loaded MotoGP up, and I'm like, okay, I normally run race cars. So like, I thought this would be like a hilarious stream. This would be a lot of fun. But it was so frustrating. I got so mad because I couldn't figure out how to drive the stupid motorcycles that I'm just like, that's it, we're done with this. And I just shut the stream off, uninstalled the game, and just like, let's just go do something else.
Right, Dr. Disrespect. Calm down.
Yeah,
I've
but
been
like,
there,
it
done
was
that.
like it was that thing where it's like I knew I wasn't bringing like a good energy to that stream. So instead of like dragging it out and trying to make something of it, I'm like, this is a wash. This was a failed experiment. We're just going to axe this and move on to something else.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, you've got to give that energy, and I guess as an upcoming streamer or as an influencer, you got to give off an energy that you can adapt pretty quickly to what's going on around you.
Mm-hmm.
No,
The thing is, you can't just be like that's true, right? Like you gotta have some sort of energy, right? You can't just be a fucking wet fish.
Yeah, stale.
You know what I mean?
You can't just.
Well, like who's gonna fucking want to hang out and it's like fucking stale fish fucking stream? You're just like, yeah, playing Valorant, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not
Just stare off
stream,
into
well, it's
space,
not even
like-
that. But it's not. Like, I've seen streams, right? And I shit you not, that I saw so many streams like this, where like their webcam be there, right? But their main screen is over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're like full focused in, keyboard, mouse, just fucking playing a game. Chat is also all the way over here. So they're not even looking at any of it.
Yeah.
And like occasionally once in a while they might look over and then go back to the game. That's sorry. You don't. Yeah, don't even bother streaming at that stage.
Yeah. But anyway. Well, I think we might wind this one up, boys. What do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything
Yeah.
else you wanted to talk about, go for it.
I mean, there's lots of things we talk about, but
I could talk about this particular shit forever.
Yeah.
Because there's just
I'm
because
sure
like
you
there's
could.
so much of nuance that's involved with this, right? Like everybody wants to
Yeah.
just try to categorize streaming as just that, and there's nothing else to it, and it's like
It's
that's
not.
completely brain dead to look at things like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just
100%.
but yeah,
But
we
I
can do
think-
it if you guys want.
I think what we need to do is to come up with a different name for smaller streamers. That we need to break that cycle somehow.
They're called streamers.
Streamers.
Well, yes.
Influencers.
Yeah, but it needs to be like we need to use it on a regular basis and sort of,
A 1-inch punch.
you know, and sort of scrub out, you know.
But in order to actually do that, you have to come up with a definition for a small streamer, which we talked about is relative based on who you're comparing. So it's a constantly changing description.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's no like way to
landscape
set
will
a rule that
change.
says this is a small streamer, this is a large
And
streamer,
see-
because there is no threshold.
But it's the same,
Yes.
like even if you used up and coming, you know, to
Yeah.
what point
Right.
are you still up and coming?
Yeah, so your landscape's always going to diverge and change as it happens anyway, because you're only going to set those personal goals within your own landscape. You're going to be like, you know, I'm not quite I'm still up and coming because I haven't made this target. And then you're going to get there, and then everyone else is their targets have already moved. So then, you know, you're always going to move the goal post, I guess, is the point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, with the goalpost that changes based on who you're comparing to, based on what
That's right.
game you're playing, even because if you're playing a game that only has 200 people watching it, and then a game that has like millions of people watching it, like
Let's
small and large is going to change.
let's talk. Let's bring it back for a second. You kind of like you guys kind of made me think about this. All right. So on Twitch, as you guys know, when it comes to getting into a partnership or you coming into an affiliate, right? Everybody's about that shit. Everybody's like, yo, fucking yeah, man, let's help this guy. Let's help this guy. They get it, gone. You know what I mean? What do you guys think about that when it goes to Glimish? 'Cause I haven't seen it. First off, Glimish doesn't have a partnership. We're automatically the thing, which is great, right? So, like, what would be a good way to, like, I guess, sort of foster that while balancing your energy, like what Don has said right here. Don was like, he's talked about his energy issues going back and forth, trying to be someone that can retain an audience, right? Like, and this all plays into each other. So, like, what would you think for Glimish would that to get Don or somebody like Don to come over here to bring that sort of thing here? Like, how would we be able to help him is what I'm trying to say. Because, like, at the end of the day, you have that really weird support system on Twitch that's like all about that shit until you get it and they're gone. And we're Glimish, it's like we all kind of help each other as much as possible as it is. We only have certain amounts of times a day anyways, so it's like
I don't think Glimish needs anything like that, and I think that's what makes it better because everybody's just a streamer on Glimish.
Yeah,
I think
there are no labels. Yeah.
The thing is, if you get your head in the right spot and you say, look, I'm not here to achieve, Twitch to rub me nicely. I'm here to do this for myself. You will put your own energy out, and that's what will keep people coming back. You don't need to sit and say, oh, I've got to be super energetic today because, I'm 4,000 people behind. You just got to sit and say, hey, I'm here. I'm just doing my thing, man. I'm just having my own fun. It's like you go to a party. You'd be like, hey, I'm going to walk in. I'm going to just be like, hey, man, what's going on? DigiSpeed, Yakes, hey, boys going? Crack. You're going to have a drink and you're going to move on with it. I think that's kind of the mentality you got to take.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Drop every. I mean, look, a classic analogy here. We were playing Turbo Golf Racing last night with a Rocket League player, and we said you've got to drop Rocket League brain. Play this game off its own merit. Same thing. Drop the Twitch mentality and take Glimish on its own merit. Once you understand that Glimish is all about you and what you put out, that's when you'll do your best.
Yeah,
no, that's
as
some people are naturally gifted. Some people like Digi can talk the ears off a dead donkey, but at the end of the day, you've got to have that kind of thing around it. So if you don't have that and you're kind of a little shy and you're a little laid back, you're probably going to struggle until you find your groove. Once you find your groove, this is probably the place that'll do it.
But it's all about
don't need VODs.
It's all about
that's a whole nother story.
Trust me, I don't want VODs on my streams.
Glimish doesn't need VODs.
VODs are a problem.
That's a whole other topic. We'll leave for another show.
I could talk all day about the issues I have with VODs.
Yeah, don't worry, I could as well. But as Javier put it, it's all about authenticity and being yourself. I mean, I solely 100% agree with that. 100%. Yes, when you're starting out, it does take a little bit of time to, as you said, Lord, find your groove. But once you're in that groove, you start to feel yourself. And you should just roll with that. You shouldn't try to entice people by being overly energetic and, doing crazy shit, because then you're just not really in it for the right reasons.
Do your thing and let that be the showcase. That's the point. Play your games. Christ, Yakes, WoW and iRacing. I mean, you can't get any further from two opposite planes of the freaking gaming industry.
Yeah.
Just does his thing, and it's just contagious. It pulls people in. You just got to do your thing, and that's all there is to it. Yeah, organically. Very exactly, much. Benjax. It just happens organically.
It's not been in a call together where you were playing an MMO and I was playing Valorant. You know what I mean? Or shit like that. It's like we and the conversations we have can either go real serious or real fucking weird and funny within seconds. So I mean, you do got to be yourself. You can't just be putting on a facade and pretending to be somebody else that you're not. And that's the problem that I think this industry is going to suffer with. And that's where the industry in a whole will actually eventually lose its identity, because nobody's going to know what a fucking streamer is in, say, the next 5 to 6 years. Everybody's going to be like, what the fuck's that?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Just be generic, be yourself, and let it shine.
No.
But anyway. All right. Well, Digi, thanks for joining us today. Yakes, good to see you back on the show for at least one episode. Don't forget, guys, this will be uploaded to the YouTube channel later on today. If you haven't checked that out, there's the links there. Also follow us on Twitter. And if you want to be part of the action and come and join us on a show or have something you want to talk about, feel free to join the Discord and let us know.
Yes. And
Yeah.
if you're ever watching the show and you're in a chat and you do want to join in, like absolutely we'll
Just let
have
us
you
know.
on. Like like we would love to
Just join the
have you on.
Discord. Be in the Discord for that, so we can drag you in and incorporate you guys into the show. Really want you guys involved and being a part of it. So, so anyway, once again, thank you, boys, for being here today. Really appreciate your inputs and your opinions on that.
Pleasure as always.
But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for today. We will be back in 2 weeks. We'll post on the Twitter probably new topic of what we're going to be chatting about, so you guys got a chance to do some research or maybe get a chance to jump in and share your opinions on it.
Indeed.
But from us here at SideNote, it'll be a goodbye, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.